You will not see my face in this video, as the point is simply to read. Part 1. Slice of Life Adventures in the Hypersphere. The Hypersphere is a big fucking place, kid. Imagine the biggest pile of dung you can take and then double, no, triple that shit, and you still haven't come close to 1 octangentillionth of a Hypersphere cornerstone. Hell, you probably don't even know what the Hypersphere is. You goddamn fucking idiot, kid. I bet you don't know the first goddamn thing about the Hypersphere. If you were paying attention, you would have gathered that it's a big fucking place. But one thing I bet you didn't know about the Hypersphere is that it's filled with fucked up freaks. They're normal people too, but they just aren't as interesting as the freaks. Are you a freak, kid? Some sort of fucking Hypersphere psycho? What the fuck are you even doing here? Get the fuck out of my face, you fucking deviant! So there I was, chilling out in the Hypersphere. I'd spent the vast majority of my life there, in fact. It did contain everything in my observable universe, so it was pretty hard to leave, honestly. At the time, I was stressing the fuck out about a fight I'd gotten in earlier. I'd been shooting some hoops when some no-good shithouses had waltzed up to me and tried to make a scene. "Fuck you, big-nosed whitey man, no playing the ball on my turf," shouted the halfling, who I assumed was the leader of this pack of apes. A man who, ironically, had a nose significantly bigger than mine. Seriously, it was comically large. The guy looked like a melanin-rich version of a banker drawn by Ben Garrison, if you catch my drift. I walked forward and asked him if he had any wojam to spare. Nah, fuck you, big nose," he replied with anger, and then began hooting and hollering as if he were performing some sort of tribal mating ritual. I tried to leave, but I guess the fuckwit got a bit overexcited and started kicking the ever-loving shit out of me, and thus breaking several of my bones. After my skull was crushed and I opened my eyes, I was, once again, in the second room of the Hypersphere. "Ha! I told you not to go with the wall jumpers, kiddo," said Juan, a large skeleton, prime usher of the second room. "Last time I went there it wasn't so bad, but the new Ojamba prohibition, this thing has gotten, well, spooky." The second room was surprisingly small, being one of the most important rooms in the Hypersphere. In fact, it was becoming increasingly difficult to breathe for those of us who weren't skeletons. The room seemed to get smaller and smaller as time passed, but since this was hyperspace, all possible times existed all at once. This meant that the room was every possible size. So while I was getting squished to some subatomic exotic matter as the room went nega, I was also at the very creation of the room, and the whole time I could hear some fucking awful rapping in the background. The skeletons that had masoned the room were an ancient species of hyperspace. They'd come at a very disadvantaged time, as the identity holder had not yet been invented, and they could, due to this semblanity of theirs, not hold on to their form as they passed through every possible time. The identity holder had been invented some 40-odd hyper moments before I first took an incalculable jump into hyperspace by a group of post-skeletons. They'd managed to keep their identity despite the massive non-passage of time. No such luck for the skeletons that had constructed this room. Authors note 1, C, or more, of the previous 2 paragraphs is non-canon. You decide which one. Right. And that's the end of this first video. That's the first 2 pages. Or the cover page, what's on it, and the second page. Yeah.